This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, October 9th, 2018, episode 195. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Visit our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Joining me from almost all the way across the country, one state shy.
Yes.
Brian, with an I, Boise, Brian Aldridge. Hey, Brian.
When they get a bunch of crazy earthquakes, supposedly that side's going to fall off. So maybe we'll be the West Coast eventually.
One day we could start. We could open the show with from sea to shining sea. I'm like 8 minutes from the beach, so
Yep.
one day we could be from sea to shining sea.
Well, we'll see if that happens anytime soon. So
yeah.
If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter or my blog, biteoftech.com. And of course, go to our website if you want to find our Discord group on there on the right-hand side of infectionpodcast.com. We've got a nice little icon that says join our Discord server. And that is an easy-to-use app. It's free. And it's how we primarily communicate throughout the week and when we play games. Also, there's a news channel in there where you can post different topics. If there's something that you think we should cover in one of the live shows, I've got a channel in there that's easy to put news into. We give notifications in there when we're getting ready to start our live show. And it's got voice chat, text chat, also video chat, sharing, screen sharing, all kinds of great stuff in there. It's a nice free app. We have on there also a link to our Twitch, which is, of course, our live show that we're doing right now, our YouTube channel, where you can get video versions of our episodes after we record them. Then we have our podcast forms, which is the audio-only format where maybe you're driving in your car and you just want to listen on the way to work. So that is how you can find us.
And that's all available on our website. I tried some clickbait on last week's episode. I don't know if it worked.
Out of business, or are making people think we're quitting?
Yeah, I looked at the stats and
Didn't make a difference.
No difference. Like I think it was like a couple, like tens more viewers per that episode. I do want to thank our friend Saul Greatman, who is coming with the comment saying China has weaponized hurricanes to fight their trade war. And for everybody that doesn't know, our good friend Saul is right outside of Tallahassee, Florida, and he's about to be under the gun from this Hurricane Michael. So I don't believe he probably won't be around for Game of the Week if I just had to guess. And it's a game he likes to play too, which is unfortunate. But I think the hurricane is probably going to have him without electricity and without intranet. So good luck, Saul. We're thinking of you, my man. We're pulling for you. I know it all too much. Just a couple weeks ago, we were dealing with Hurricane Florence over here, so we'll see. We'll see what goes on. But yeah.
Hopefully it all comes out all right.
Yes, I'm sure it will. Game of the week. This week's game of the week is going to be. It was offered by our good friend Green Man Cartoons, and it's going to be some League of Legends. That was his recommendation for the week, and that's what we're going with. He offered to run it, and that's what we'll be doing.
Very good. So League of Legends.
Yep.
That'll be Friday, and is that not 7? That's at 8.
That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. Yep, that'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern.
I had to convert it over.
Yeah, I always get. We got D&D starts at 8. I think Game of the Week starts at 8. The podcast starts at 7. There's just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. So yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure you get all loaded up. It is a separate launcher. So I don't think you can find it in Steam.
No, you got to download it separately.
So make sure you download their launcher, get it all updated if you haven't run it in a while. Sometimes they'll have big updates, and be ready to go.
Yes, absolutely. So you can go ahead and download that and install that, and we should have a few people playing that on Friday night. So
very good. And then so I wasn't there for last week's game of the week.
Yes.
And so you guys did play Overwatch. which would have been fun to be at. But do we have a decent turnout, and how did it go?
We had a great turnout. We played for about 2 hours. We kicked everybody's ass. It was a full we were on the giving side of typically what happens when we play Overwatch, which is just getting your ass handed to you on a silver platter. And we were on the winning side of that for probably a good hour and 15 minutes. And then we started winning and losing a couple games intermixed. But overall, we had a good turnout. Everybody had a good time. And I'm trying to think, did we switch to something else after? I don't. No, maybe we just wrapped up with that. I played Ring of Elysium with Joe, and I don't remember if that happened before the game night or after the game night. But we played Overwatch for quite some time, and we had a good time with it.
Very good. Well, I won't be here at this next one. I've got that one thing. That's why Green Man was nice to be able to cover that for us. So I won't be at this next one, but I should be at the one after that. So
yeah, well, and
back to normal.
One thing we've noticed with it is, Brian and I've kind of even tooled around the idea a couple times of postponing it or doing something weird with it, because every once, sometimes we just don't have good turnout. But it's the summer. People are, it's late summer now into the fall, and as winter kind of gets more in gear,
people will be inside at those times.
Well, I think just things are less crazy. There's less events going on outside. People aren't on vacation, so over the next couple weeks, I'm sure things will start to. And I guess we probably need to recompile a list of. Let's do that over the next couple weeks.
So we've got our app, so we can just go through and
we need to recompile a list, because there's a lot of games that we should be putting on there. Games that we just haven't played in a while. So we'll do that over the next couple weeks. We'll revamp our list, and then we could start doing it on the show. Start rolling it on the show, unless there's a predefined one before. And obviously, if there's a game updates. Still, did we ever make that? We never made that 7 days to die countdown. We need to do that too. Totally forgot about that. Count up.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that for last week. So
that was probably 3 weeks. Whatever. Hey, this is what you get for. This is what you pay for. Thanks for the subscription. Saw that.
JD says we need some full weekend games
7
again.
days.
One thing that when 7 days comes, that's what that's going to be, and that will be one where we'll have a server up and we can just play it until people just are like, I can't play any more 7 days.
Yep. I'm waiting for it. I'm just not very not very sure what we're gonna get on that front. Do we have any other? I'm trying to think. We got any other kind of housekeeping stuff before we get into the news?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything that
Is there a new Humble Bundle out? Let's see what the new Humble Bundle is. Oh, it's 7 days to die. Look at that.
Yeah, so if you don't have 7 days to die somehow, because we'll be having this update, and hopefully it'll be out in the next month.
Yeah.
There's 7 days to die is one of the Humble Bundle unlocks. They'll have Hitman the complete first season, and then Hollow Knights, and then they'll have 4 other games that they'll be adding to it. So there's 23 days left on that. If you go and you pay now and you do the early unlock, so you pay your amount now, it will give you those 3 games immediately. So you could, if you've never played 7 Days to Die, start playing it then, or you could always hold it and play it once this fully releases to this next Alpha 17 version, and we can then, teach you afresh with how it works. So, and
I'm just verifying, how much is 7 Days to Die? Oh, it's $25 on Steam. So this is, you're getting this for half,
at least half off.
Pretty much half off. Yeah, it's like 12 something with tax. So you get
plus 6 other games.
Yeah, plus 6 other games. So if you don't have 7 Days to Die, and you'd like it, it's highly. I mean, I'd highly recommend it. Even though we've only played it in a couple of large sessions, when we play it, we play the living hell out of it. You can head on over to our website. It's infectionpodcast.com/support. Click the orange Humble Bundle icon. And inside of that, you'll click on monthly, and it'll bring you to this page. You subscribe; it helps us out. You get the game. It's a win-win for all. So you can do that on our website, infectionpodcast.com/support, and you can see the link right there on the right-hand side.
Very good.
Okie-doke. News-wise, we've got a lot of stuff to get into. Let's start off with something. Our old trusty H1Z1. They've actually got a new event. They're doing a showdown.
Yes.
I don't remember when they did their first one. It was some time ago. But they're doing another one. It actually starts tomorrow, and people have already qualified for it. So they're calling it Showdown 2, and it's funny how they're doing the differentiation. It's for the Season 2 PC Royale Showdown, because there's got to be a differentiation between PC and PS4 now. They are being managed by two different teams. That was confirmed this week. We already knew that was the case, but a Daybreak employee literally said, we're working on the PS4 version. So, that's what they're doing. You can watch it on Twitch. It starts tomorrow, and it's twitch.tv/Z1 Battle Royale. You can see there's a calendar here with all the times. The first day for North America is 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific is the first day of the European zone. 4 p.m. Pacific is the first day of the South American zone. North America is 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday the 11th. And then on Friday, October 12th, the first 5 p.m. Pacific. Oh, these times are getting weird. 5 p.m. Pacific on October 12th, which is the 13th in Australia, is going to be is that zone. And then Asia Pacific's is 7:30 p.m. Pacific on October 12th. And again, that's the 13th for their time. So a little bit weird how they're breaking that down, but there's a list of qualified players. You can see it over here on their website of all the people that are qualified. And it's another one of their showdowns. They've got
this should be interesting because they're going to be doing those special weapons, I think. I've seen them talking on Twitter about the reward skins for, I think it's the AR, if I remember correctly. And so remember they discussed that they were going to do these skins that were unique, that had some sort of a tag saying this person won this skin. And so it is a unique skin from the showdown.
Yeah, so
this will be interesting to see what those look like and get an example of those after this is finished.
So if there's going to be rewards for viewers, that hasn't been announced yet, it just says to be announced. If you're a participant in the tournament, you're going to get a Season 2 animated Showdown AR skin. It doesn't say that it'll be the one that's got the custom tag. We can pontificate that it might, but that's for anybody that participates. If you finish top 10 in the tournament, you're going to get a Season 2 Gold Showdown AR, and if you're the winner of your region, which again is Europe, South America, North America, Australia, and then Asia Pacific, you get a Season 2 Gold Showdown Shotgun. And then the rewards will be granted at the beginning of Season 3. So they're doing the Showdown 2 on that starts October 10th through the 12th, 13th, depending on your time zone, and then the second round of it takes place the weekend after, which is the 17th to the that'll be next Wednesday, rather 17th to the 19th and the 20th, depending on your local time. So you can check that. That'll be cool. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember how the last one went, to be honest with you, but there it is. It's the Royale Showdown. This is the PC version of H1Z1 or of Z1 Battle Royale.
Z1 Battle Royale.
I don't even know. Yeah, you can check that out. That'll start tomorrow. Again, you can watch it on Twitch. It'll be interesting to see who's playing on it.
Now, another thing that's interesting is they put you had a link in here to their roadmap.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
and they show that they have that calendar on there.
Well, this is what I find really cool, and this is something we've never seen before, Brian. Never have we seen this before. There's the version 1.1 of the game. It says estimated release date October 9th, and just about an hour ago, Anthony Castro, updated the card and said this update is now at risk of being delayed. The team moved offices and some tools haven't come back online yet as of Tuesday morning, causing some delay in finalizing the release, which is something that typically we didn't see. it would get right down to this is an actual description of what has happened. Normally it's just, or it used to be, sorry, patch delayed, bug caused delay in patch, more info soon, or something of that nature. Just some vague BS that was like, what the hell? So here we have an actual.
They may have had these internally, but it was never filtered to us. Was the issue?
Yes.
So now they're treating it like, hey, we're making the tools that we're using internally before at Daybreak, something similar to this to show release dates, expected release dates, just to track everything.
This is a legit roadmap, legit.
So now they're actually putting it out in the public, and because that was one of their biggest things that we would get after them on is, why don't you tell people about what you're doing? And that's something that they did promise that they were going to change when they did that initial video of being more open, not saving everything for the big reveal.
Yep.
Being very open with, here's what's coming, here's what we're hoping for. If there is a problem, we will let you know. And then this is an example of that. And
as of right now, it appears that they're in fact doing this. They're doing that. Something though interesting here. This is a little meta, but I'm going to get into it anyway. The team moved offices. If you remember back just a couple of weeks ago, when they did the initial launch video for this with Clegg, Anthony, Jace, and I don't remember the guy that was sitting to the left of Jace.
Yeah,
he's been there forever. He's not very public though, and he didn't really talk in that video. He said that they were staying in Daybreak. Daybreak has been gracious enough to let them stay in Daybreak's offices
until they get settled, pretty much.
That was only what, a month and a half ago? A month ago? They're already moving offices.
Honestly, how many people are actually still at Daybreak? I don't really think that there's that much that Daybreak can now offer. I think they got probably enough of the original team that used to work on this game back to where, what are they going to offer? What's Daybreak going to offer?
My point is, why did they leave the office?
I don't know.
Moving an office and moving all your computer equipment is clearly a pain in the ass. I've moved a radio station out 3 times. It's a real pain in the ass. You don't just.
Or it's possible that they hired on or brought on more people than they expected, and that room wasn't big enough because they went into just kind of a side room.
I think they've left Daybreak. The team moved offices. I would assume that they've left the premises of. Again, this is pure speculation, but it is interesting because Jace made it very clear that they were going to stay close with Daybreak and they were going to be working out of Daybreak's beautiful you can look at the pictures online, beautiful offices that they've got in San Diego, and it appears now that they've completely moved offices. At least from this post, I don't know what computer equipment wouldn't be available just moving from one space to another. Your computer equipment would all be in one location. You wouldn't move.
They could have build a build server.
But you wouldn't move it out of a server room.
They would want that on site though, because it's going to be a big.
That's my point. That's the indication
so
that
if they move that, I could understand that they didn't quite get that up and running. They may have to configure the network. But it sounds like they would have to have then left, as you said.
That's my point. Yeah.
Left the premises, not just moved to another office, because generally moving to another office wouldn't be a totally separate network.
Exactly. So I don't know this to be the case. It just seems like that. I don't know what that means going forward on a Daybreak or I guess you could say H1Z1 PS4 and Z1 Battle Royale relationship going forward. Another thing to note though, the Showdown link is on H1Z1.com. I don't know who owns that. It appears to be Daybreak's site. Just by looking.
Supposedly Daybreak is still the artistic direction. I don't know. That's what they were claiming, is there's still a role that Daybreak is playing in this. They're just not doing any kind of development anymore about it.
Yeah. So who knows what that if they've in fact moved. I don't know what that means for the relationship going forward. There's really nothing to speculate about, but I just thought that was kind of an interesting note. And I have to say, I've got to give them credit, Brian. We've got to give them credit where credit is due. They have held up to their end of the bargain thus far with being pretty transparent. You can look at this calendar, which there'll be a link in the show notes, infectionpodcast.com, you can see what they're working on. And there's comments, there's little side notes. You can see what people are doing. And this is all on Trello. There's a lot of stuff on here.
Yep.
So I've got to give them credit for that.
Yep. So we'll see. And hopefully this continues, and I'm sure it will. If this is something that they're using for tracking anything internally, then, it'll continue to have information on there. But right now it just goes out to the 7th of next month.
Yep.
They don't have any more things. So as long as they keep adding data to that, one thing is interesting is they have 1.1 that they're trying to release today. And then they'll have 1.2, which will be on the 24th. So,
and then if you go back to the actual card version of Trello, you can see that they've got a Halloween updates and whatnot scheduled. All that stuff isn't necessarily calendarized items, but I mean, they've got you can look at this. I'm showing it here on the screen for our video listeners. There's a lot of stuff on here. I mean, this is a full Trello board of things that they're working on, and and it's all public, and they promote the hell out of this website. What's it? H1Z1 or Z1roadmap.com, I think is the URL. Let me verify that before it's Z1roadmap.com. They promote the shit out of this website, meaning they want people to go, they want people to look at it, and that means they know people are going to hold them accountable. So it's good
if he starts to slack off, people will get a hold of Jace. They will start tweeting Jace like crazy. So there is now one person, because he said you can hold me accountable.
Yep.
There's one person that you can say, hey, you are slacking on this, or you promise you do this and you're not. And he will at least respond. He'll say, okay, maybe soon, or unlike before where who would you complain to?
Yeah, complain to
no one knew.
Sarah Flanagan, the community manager. I mean that's who you would complain to. And I'm not sure. Yeah. I haven't checked out Sarah on Twitter recently. I don't know if I'll check real quick. I don't know who she's working for now.
So on the 5th, she did she posted something about Daybreak. So
I know she works.
She said, "I'm super excited to be part of the first ever official DGC Extra Life team this year." So
she works for Extra Life, yeah.
No. I think she's just being a part of that team, the Extra Life team for Daybreak. So she is definitely an employee of Daybreak. I don't know. Do you think she's going to start working in other games? Because I don't see her since August 31st really talking about anything related to H1Z1.
I'm just curious if she's working with Jace and the new team with Adam and Anthony, or she's sticking with, and she
hasn't had a single post regarding H1Z1 since PAX West.
Okay, what is her Twitter? What is her Twitter?
It's at Sarah Flanagan, Sarah L. Flanagan.
Okay,
I think.
Okay, I'm just trying to find it here on my end.
So that's the thing is, she hasn't made a post since Twit or since PAX West, and she hasn't mentioned anything about H1Z1 since PAX. So that seems kind of odd to me. It still says as her description that she is the community manager for H1Z1 at Daybreak Games. She has not updated it to Z1 Battle Royale. So she's probably the community manager for the PS4 version.
Yeah, I'm looking at her likes, and she appears to be liking. She's liked a couple. I mean, this is getting crazy, but she liked a tweet about the leaderboards that herself and then a couple of other people were tagged in that are Daybreak employees. I think she still works for Daybreak.
Yeah, she still works for Daybreak. I just don't know that she's going to be working on the actual Z1 Battle Royale.
She won't. If she works for Daybreak, she's not. I mean, that's the thing. These are two separate groups. And now that they're two separate groups. Adam Clegg will not be working on the PS4 version of Daybreak, of H1Z1.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're literally two separate groups now. I mean, they're like, I don't know how it's working.
It's going to be weird going forward.
I mean, and it appears now they may be in different offices. So you either work for Daybreak, or you work for this new Daybreak half. I don't remember the name of the other company that Jace is kind of heading up. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yep, we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see because she may. I don't know. I mean, because I'm kind of curious, how different will the games become? This PS4
I think they're
version
going to become very different.
That's just going to be really interesting how they handle that marketing wise to see it kind of happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to work. Thanks, Firebomb. He's giving us some hype for Overkills The Walking Dead. Bits from my favorite homies. Thanks, Firebomb. You're our favorite viewer. Suck at PH. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting going forward, but it does appear that Z1 Battle Royale is on the right track. Yeah, I haven't written it off yet.
Well, I think the best track was to separate themselves as far as they can from Daybreak, which it sounds like they're doing.
Yes. So we'll continue to follow. But yeah, Showdown coming up the next 2 weeks. You can watch it, get all the information on their website, h1z1.com/showdown, and you can check it out. I'll be checking that out tomorrow.
Now, one game that we've been talking about here for a little while, kind of waiting for this next update, is Conan Exiles. They put out their update 34 this past week. And the main things that are in this update are the new pet taming system. They fixed some server crashes. And then you can now access the northwestern corner of the frozen north again. So it was inaccessible for a while. You can now access that.
Yeah, so here's a little video here that we'll play while we kind of talk over it. But they have added, according to somebody that works with Conan on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, this is the largest patch since the 1.0 launch. And you can see now all of the animals that are able to be tamed here. Even the big rock monster things can be tamed. Camels, which I
think is pretty cool.
It's super cool. They've got a new dungeon in there that looks super cool. Some big, looks like bull looking thing. Some new dual wield weapon moves. And the melee combat in this game was already sweet. Some new fire arrows, some specialist arrows that do some different things. Kind of looks a little bit.
Looks like gas damage and explosions.
Light, health.
Oh, a healing arrow.
So some really cool stuff. Couple new religions. Excuse me. And just some other cool stuff that they're working on. According to them, the biggest update since 1.0 launch.
Yes, and one thing is they're kind of treating it a little bit like Ark with those animals. When you place them in the pens, they will not. I guess the food will not decay as fast. I think this is so that when you have a pet, you don't want it to sit there and eat the food so quickly that it then starves to death before you log back in. So they are treating it in kind of a similar mechanic as what Ark does with the feeding pen. If you put food in with an animal and it's in a pen, it will take a lot longer to decay than the normal food will if you have it on your person. So
yes, so that's pretty cool. And it is pretty crazy now that they've got animals, tameable animals. It's
a big variety of them, which makes it fun.
Yeah, because unlike Ark, and Ark has got a huge variety in their dinosaurs, but there is the different creatures that are available in Ark. There's little as like a wolf thing that comes after you, and as big as some like weird rock monster thing that kind of burrows under the ground. There's just a lot more variety, I think. There in general, there's more variety in Ark, but the difference in the animals, or the creatures rather, that you can tame in Conan is so much greater than it is in Ark. They're all dinosaurs. That's what you can tame. They're different kinds, but at the end of the day, they're all dinosaurs. These are a whole bunch of weird creatures that you can tame.
Well, I think like having variety, like the camels, to where then it has all the packs and things on their back. It kind of gives you that better feel than just the very basic saddles that you have in Ark. I mean, they work, but it doesn't really, especially for the people that are into RP and things like that. Those aren't exactly, the Arc isn't exactly an RP type of a game. This, I can see more people kind of doing an RP, especially with all the different varieties of skins and things that they put into the game. I think that'll add more to it. So yeah, they show
It's like a little pen thing that somebody's made. This is some lance.
That's a very unique creature. It looks like the face looks like the creature on the left. It looks like the face of Tremors. You remember that show?
I do not. I think it's before my time.
Yeah, it was.
But
so they got a lot of variety. You can see that they do have the food, the pen, kind of very similar to Ark, and they got some food sitting on there, showing that it's full.
Yeah. Overall, really cool. This will have to be. We'll have to jump back into this.
I know that we were waiting. I did take off the server temporarily just until this patch came out, and so I can, whenever anybody, people are ready and they say I'm ready to jump back in, I'll spin it back up. I'll update it, spin it back up, and then you can either, I don't know if we should start fresh, probably just continue if people want to mainly just see the pets.
Yeah, we'll probably continue.
Just continue it where it was.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. We'll do that over the next couple of weeks. I mean, it's a big patch, but it's nothing that's, super crazy. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not anything that's super time sensitive, rather. So we'll do that over the next couple of weeks. We'll spin that back up. Funny enough, Lance just took down his server like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, it's fine. Nice. So funny. It's kind of funny that now that there's a new patch out, but yeah, there it is. Our update 34 from Conan, and I'm trying to find that tweet. I want to see who tweeted that this was the largest update since update 1.0, and I'm having trouble finding it.
Yeah, I'm not.
I will find it. I'll find it. Somebody tweeted it. I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
All right. Do you mind if we move on?
No, go for it.
All right. So PUBG, they put out.
Hold on. Wait, I found it. No.
Right.
Yes. This is the chief marketing officer at Funcom said that this is our biggest update to Conan Exiles since launch. So they're holding this internally.
Now their launch was a big update. I mean, that's where they redid a lot of the melee and just a huge amount. So this is the biggest. Yep. So this was the biggest content update that they've done, especially.
Yes. Sorry to cut you off there. What game are we moving into?
All right. So let's go and talk a little bit about some PUBG.
Oh, okay.
So one thing they put out a post kind of discussing this new rank system that they're working on with this, which really kind of brings it closer to the mobile version. The mobile version has a ranking system and has a lot of things to encourage you to go in and play and level up. And they have that kind of a pass, a lot of skins. And so I think that they saw that there's a lot of benefit to that. And so now they're having it to where you can track. They have a new way for you to track your progress, show off your skill in PUBG. The rank system is, they said it was very highly requested for them to put this in.
I bet.
And so what they're doing is their first beta season of this. And so that will help you to kind of see your own growth in the game. You can see how you stand against other players, all the other PUBG players. And then once this beta is over, they're going to start a real season. So this is going to be kind of a test season. And then what they'll have are some end of season rewards that they'll do, kind of similar to H1Z1 and the mobile version. So you'll rank up, you'll get some rewards at the end of the season. On there, they do have, for example, the way they calculate their points is a diamond player who wins a game with 8 kills would earn 30 RP. Or a diamond player who wins a game with 1 kill would earn 20 RP. A diamond player who wins a game in 100th place with 0 kills would lose 20 RP. So that's kind of the ranking, the way that, it'll go up and down. If you do lose games, if you die early, you get 0 kills, it will affect your ranking and your points will either go down, or if you get close to first with a few kills, that's going to be ultimate for you, rather than just trying to last and not getting any kills and maybe getting second. So Hopefully this will make a difference. They'll have bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, elite, master, and then grandmaster will be the progression. So in your first 10 matches, it takes 10 matches to rank up. So you won't have a rank until you've done 10 matches. And then you'll start out in that bronze ranking. So,
and you can see the different levels here. There's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, elite, master, and grandmaster. Now I'm trying to remember. Fortnite doesn't have a system like this, do they? I know
they have levels.
Yeah, but H1Z1's got this. H1Z1's got a similar system to this with platinum.
Yeah, H1Z1 has a similar system to this. Fortnite has websites where you can go and compare yourself to other places.
Each season you level. There is a level per season. That's how you get skins and whatnot. I think.
Well, so your levels reset each season.
Yes.
So at the beginning you go up to 70 or 100 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you get those rewards every tier. So it's different than this. It's not really. I mean, everybody, if they played enough, could get to level 100 or whatever. This is going to be to where you're actually competing against other people.
So this is very similar to what H1Z1 has got in their system.
Yep, should be pretty close.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and I read through this. I don't think it said how long the pre-season 1 thing was going to be.
I didn't see a date in here,
but it'll, I'm sure it'll be in for a couple of weeks. So
yeah, I think that mainly they probably just want to get a good idea.
Yeah,
a good idea of how it works, and then if they think it works well, then they'll kick it off into the regular one. So. And then one thing they did do another event, and they're called Crash Carnage.
Yeah, this looked like
just
fun.
Ended here. Yeah, last couple of days. And so this one, it says it's fuel and fire are king. So there's no firearms, and what you do is you have to focus on melee weapons, throwables, and driving. And so you have to kill everybody with those. And then it's a duo game, and you get to the final circle. Then it comes down to either crashing into somebody, because they say on here, so loot quick, grab a vehicle, and crash your way to Road Warrior Glory. So this is a unique way of doing it, and I know they keep doing these as specials, but at what point are they going to take all these different variety ones that they've done and make a playlist out of them so that it's not just one weekend or a 3-day period that they're doing this, and then I don't get to do it again for a long time. Do you think this is a better way, or do you think that they should throw this into a playlist so people can play all of these over in random order, however they want? I
don't know what the excuse me. I don't know how they should deal with this. I really don't. I wish they would give more notice and leave these out for a longer period of time. These things are out like it started 4th, 5th, 6th. It was out for like 3 days.
3 days, yeah.
It's just, and in the middle of but they announced it. It came out last Thursday, but they announced it last Thursday. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. By the time I saw it, it was like Sunday night. I didn't have any time to play it anyway.
Yeah.
So I
wish they do them for a week. I know they want people to be. They want the lobbies to be full, but that's where I think if they just have a queue of these to where everybody can do these variety ones, and then when you get a new one, throw it in the queue and just kind of see what people think of it, rather than doing 3 days.
I wish they scheduled
and if you find one that you don't like, then they can pull it out of the queue.
I wish they would schedule these like a week or two in advance. And maybe it's because they just kind of throw these together last minute. Like maybe this is a
it's got to take some time. I mean,
it's just a rule set.
Come up with the rules,
but it's just a rule set. I mean, they're not really changing any major game mechanics. So maybe this is something that they just kind of work on throughout the weeks. And whenever they have some free time, they work on little projects like this. But it would be nice to have these kind of planned out. I honestly have only played in like one of these because I just don't see them. I don't see it. We do. I mean, I'm not saying they need to revolve.
I mean, it shows up on their website. I don't tend to see it on Twitter at all.
Yeah, and the only time I played in one, I was browsing Twitch and I saw somebody was streaming with like the title special event. So I clicked on it and it was a special event mode because not that I expect them to change things revolving around our show because that's not what I'm saying. But I I look at the news from starting like Monday morning. Monday and Tuesday is when I kind of catch up on what went on, and I don't typically see a lot of. I don't monitor our game Twitter account through like the weekend because there's not honestly nothing really happens. Nobody's working, so I just wish they would schedule these. Like, hey, next weekend we're gonna do this.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and that's very odd because that's the thing is it makes it very difficult to get in there unless you're checking the website every day. It's like, oh, I missed it. Or if you're logging into the client, then you would see it. But if you don't feel like playing the base game and you want to try these out, they make it kind of difficult to actually get in there.
Yeah, so, they do. But
hey, another thing they did. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying they're doing it like that for a reason.
Yeah. Well, another thing they did is they announced a new set of skins that are going to be for Twitch streamers. So they have a limited time broadcaster royale Twitch streamer skins, and this is group 2.
What do you think?
And I mean, I'm not a big fan of the, what is it? What kind of a top, like the very top one, which is the little mini skirt and the purple, and the bright green. I mean, they're just getting closer and closer to odd stuff.
Fortnite.
Especially the top ones.
Yeah.
The rest of them, I don't mind so much.
Well, these
those
make
are
sense.
shirts that the streamer might actually sell. I just don't see people in public wearing those top outfits.
These
like that's just.
Are these actually in there though?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't see them in the list, but it'd be odd that they would make a model in a skin and just for the header and not actually put it in there.
Here are all the items.
Yeah, so let's see if you
scroll. Oh, this is a streamer, I guess. Jenna
Julian's.
Yeah, it says there's 21 items. Oh, here's another page. Yeah, okay, so these are actually in here. So those are the only 2 that are crazy. If you want to call. Now, but to be clear, these you have to purchase these. These are not going to be in crates or whatever. You have to go out and purchase these.
Yeah, so these are ones that I assume they kind of support the streamer.
One would think so.
You can get them through the Twitch PUBG store. You can get them through the Steam PUBG store, or you can get them in game. They have an in-game store that you can go in and get them with. So,
hey,
and these are like,
good.
The shirts are like $5. I mean,
yeah, they're $4.99 for all of them. So, hey, thanks, Zarayu, my friend Dave, for the subscription. We do appreciate it. Yeah, the PH says give H1Z1 their stupid skins back. I mean, Brian, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I mean, this seems a little extreme. The logo, I don't care, but this looks like a Space Jam promo outfit. Yeah. I mean, this green is literally like, it's space. I mean, it's the Space Jam VHS
my thing
cover.
Is that my issue is that the next thing that we're going to see is those moving like colors and shapes that they're starting to do in H1Z1.
Yeah,
to where it like you can see the effect of it just being a pattern that moves. I mean, that's the next step for that. That's the only way they can upgrade that skin.
Yeah, and then where's the other one? I mean, this isn't that crazy. I mean, the colors are crazy, but it's just colors. There's no like weird design on it. It's just. I guess those are her colors. I don't even know who this is. So interesting.
But the thing is, the guys can wear that top. That's my issue. That's their thing. Is they want it to be. It doesn't matter. You can dress how you want to dress. You can be whoever you want to be. And guys like to. It's not because that's how they're trying to show themselves their real self. They're like, how can I make the stupidest looking outfit I could possibly make? I mean, the problem is these built upon each other, one after another. It just creates it gives the ability for someone to create the most ridiculous looking outfits. And then you run into exactly what we ran into with H1Z1.
Yeah.
The googly eyes and just stupid stuff that's frustrating to play with.
So
I think Brendan's losing artistic control of the project personally. I mean, not that he's not able to have control, you know what I'm saying? I think that they are viewing it as, we need to make money, we need to compete with, and then list off the other games that have crazy skins. Look at how successful the mobile version is at selling these crazy skins. I think that he is losing some of his voice of being able to say, no, let's keep this in a certain type of feel. I don't think he's going to be able to control it anymore. This is the edge. I mean, and we've had a few in the past that were on the edge as well. Like, I don't think that they're going to keep it limited to this.
Yeah, this Jenna Julian is a guy and girl, looks like podcast. They've got a gun too. It appears. That I think that's their gun.
Zebra
too.
stripe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, this is in the game. Interesting.
It's like Fortnite.
Yeah, so Nisco just pointed out too. I literally looked at the VODs too. It's just a guy. It's just a guy. Julian is the only one playing any of the things. I scrolled through the VOD list and it was just a guy. I mean, there was no girl in any of the videos. So I'm not sure why the skirt, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing out. I attacked another Twitch streamer. There comes our ban. It doesn't appear that any of their branding doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. It's odd. I don't know. Yeah. Brian, I'm sorry, Brian. You were right. I'm sorry. You were right. This was gonna get out of hand. I kept saying it wasn't. It's out of hand, Brian. They're selling a pink and blue corset top thing. I'm sorry. You were right.
Yeah, I mean, this is just where this stuff goes. It annoys me more than anything. And I've kind of quit caring, right? And it's easier to let it happen when you quit caring, when you quit caring about it. But I mean, this is not a serious type of game. They're gonna drive away the Arma people, which was probably a large part of their audience originally. And I don't think that they're gonna, if they're driving away from the Arma type of simulator crowd, I think that they're gonna struggle more to try to pick up people that play Fortnite and play all these other games that seem to be a better feeling game. I mean, you had a chance to play some of that other game that is Ring of Elysium. I mean, that feels just as good. We've got the new Call of Duty coming out, which is going to be more of a serious one. If they drive away from that, people will go, well, I'll go play Call of Duty, because they're not going to have pink halter tops, guys running around in pink halter tops, braziers.
Yeah, it's a really fine line, and I don't know what they can do.
How can they go farther than this without 100% being over the line? Like, what can they do past what looks like kind of a NFL cheerleader outfit? I mean, honestly, isn't that what that looks like? It's an NFL cheerleader outfit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know.
So yeah, I mean, whatever. But this is where it goes, and it's just going to make it seem even worse. I mean, because we saw the long trek that took H1Z1 to that point, and I remember these skins coming out saying, "Okay, I thought this was supposed to be a zombie survival game that kind of had a serious feel to it, and you actually, it had a certain vibe to it." And I've even kind of felt like PUBG had a certain vibe to it, like you're trying to survive. It was more realistic as far as the gunplay, and this just takes me right out of it.
Yeah, no, you're right, especially with the way that we rank these games is PUBG is the realistic military simulation game. That's kind of where people rank it. Fortnite is the crazy, wacky, nothing matters, hamburgers things, unicorns, shopping cart, just craziness. Then you've got games like Realm Royale, which are like weird kind of, I don't even know, it's not futuristic. It's kind of like a weird fantasy world kind of thing. And PUBG, I don't blame them for doing this because Fortnite is making $1 billion doing it, but they're gonna lose their they're gonna lose the ranking of, you know, hardcore game when you've got stuff like this in the game, which I personally doesn't really bother me. But it doesn't fit in with the hardcore game that they talk about. So
yeah. Well, and part of the issue, I think their testing grounds were, I mean, pretty much their testing grounds was the mobile version. I think that whatever's in the mobile version, I think is what we're going to see happening in PUBG regular, because the mobile version has a lot of crazy skins and just silly stuff like you would see closer to Fortnite.
Yep.
And I just think that they've seen that that's what sells. And I think that that's what you're going to start seeing in the regular PUBG. So I don't know. That's what it is. What it is, and I think there's plenty of other games for people to play if they don't want that silly trolly, because it leads nothing but to being a trolly atmosphere. You know, when you put emotes in, I mean, look at what they do in in Fortnite. Someone kills someone, they do a dance on top of their body. You know, they're wearing ridiculous outfits. Like but
nobody cares. That's the thing. There's no expectation that it's serious. That's.
I guess the thing is, I think PUBG has that. I think PUBG has more of that expectation.
That's what I'm saying. They want. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you're absolutely right, Brian. Fortnite doesn't have the expectation. Fortnite has always been the crazy.
You expect it to be a 12-year-old kid who just killed you.
But it has nothing to do with 12-year-old kid. It's just the seriousness of the game is not there. That's why I personally like it, because it's not serious. It doesn't matter. We every time we play it, we lose, and we lose badly. It doesn't matter because it's not serious. Nobody's taking it seriously. Everybody's just having a good time. PUBG is hardcore, depending on how you play it. But when we've played it from time to time, I mean, we get into it, and you know, and we try hard it. And it, when you've got, you know, stuff like that in there. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I've been wrong.
It's all right. So kind of in the same vein, let's talk a little bit about Fallout.
Oh, because abysmal disasters. Okay, yeah. What are we talking about?
I put a video on there that has some gameplay. I don't know if you want to play that.
Is this the GameSpot video?
I think so.
Yeah, I watched this. Oh boy,
I had it started at kind of a time when people could see what's going on, but this is something that you had an actual chance to see a decent amount of gameplay. This is the
GameSpot video. Yeah.
Yes. And so on here, this is pretty much the beginning, right before they get to go out and start exploring. You can see there's multiple players. This is a bunch of streaming or gaming news sites, pretty much.
Yeah, and this is GameSpot's video. I think they have the most popular video out of it.
Yeah. So if you look, I mean, visually, that's very good. Like,
yeah, it's a pretty game.
You can see on the screen right now, for the engine that they're using, like the lighting looks interesting, got a lot of variety. But once you start playing it, I think they are losing some of the important things that you really actually love Fallout 4. One thing is NPCs. There are things that you kill, right? But what about the people that give quests and NPCs you talk to, the robots, and all these different things that help move the story along? Well, there is no story to move along. They're doing more of you're finding things that are maybe documents and things like that are telling you a story, but they're not actually, it's not like Fallout 76 in the sense that, oh, I need to go now over to this section and I have this quest. I'm going to talk to this guy. It's more of you have zombies or, you know, different mutants that you're killing. And you can see here the VAT system. We'll talk a little bit about the VAT system. It's kind of impossible to do the VAT system like in standard Fallout. Standard Fallout, the VAT system is it pretty much pauses time.
Yep.
You get to pick different places that you want to attack, zones of their body. It shows you
Like
the
this right
percentage
here,
of
yep.
hit.
Except it being slow
But
motion.
the issue is you can't stop it. So it kind of turns into a system to where it's kind of like an auto aim in a way, is you just hold down the VAT system and then you do a fire, which I think will work really well for controllers because it's going to be, it's fairly difficult to get that fine aiming in controllers. But I really think that it's not going to be, it's not going to be the powerful tool that it was previously in Fallouts. And you could see that there's a base, for example,
Base
that they
looks,
showed a little
base
bit
looks
before.
cool. Yeah.
Kind of upgrade over time. You
can see the turrets
make the structure
attacking the NPC dogs or wolves or whatever that have come up.
Yep. So you can create some sort of a base. You saw there that he couldn't attack him. He shot him right in the head. Here's I think they're trading items there.
There's that emote system. Yep.
Yeah, they got the emotes. But for me, I mean, do you think that this
Nice frame
will
drop.
satisfy the Fallout people that injuries?
I'll
Do you
tell
think
you,
they're going to be satisfied with this at all?
I'll tell you, Brian. I've been talking to a couple people that are Fallout fans, and I have seen a lot of rip Fallout, DOA Fallout things from people that like Fallout. I was talking to specifically my cousins, and they're both big Fallout fans, and they were like, "This game looks like garbage." After watching this GameSpot video.
Yeah. And so the thing is like, what do you do? Like, what are you going to do in the game?
Now, to be clear, I just want to say this, and I don't know this to be the case. I don't know. I'm just saying this is specifically what Bethesda allowed the press to have access to. So there could be elements that they are holding back. This is, according to the description on this YouTube video, if I'm remembering it correctly, it says this is the highlights of their play session, and it's 50 minutes long. And I'll tell you what, if
they did a 3-hour game session, if I remember correctly.
And
so I think it was 3 hours. They edited it down.
And I'll tell you, if this is the highlights, then this game sucks because nothing in here is exciting. I mean, this looks like every other freaking Fallout game. I mean, none of this looks. This just looks like Fallout. This looks like Fallout 4. Now that there's people,
without the story and the quests and progression. Now, I mean, they will have it to where your character can learn new things, make things.
Yeah, and the frame rate. I don't know what's up with the frame rate, but it's laggy as crap.
Yeah, I did see comments about that. So one thing is, can you scroll to the very end?
Yeah, we're about.
So they actually do that nuclear detonation.
Oh, okay. I know what you're going to talk about. Yep.
So here they know that they're doing this nuclear countdown now. It has a counter in the top right. You can see there's 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. And this is going to be that nuclear launch. One thing you can definitely you will see the limitations of their engine.
Oh, yeah.
With this nuclear blast. I was very shocked to see with this explosion, once they get to the mushroom bomb. I mean, they have this effect, which sure, looks fine. You got some stuff that's kind of flying past you, but if you can look in high res and look at that mushroom cloud, how choppy it is.
Yeah.
My concern is that it doesn't feel like it's a smooth rising up of material. It looks like a flat image.
Yeah.
That sits over that space.
Yeah.
That's just like they have kind of moving up. It doesn't actually look like an effect. Which is kind of disappointing, but okay, here is where the game might have some extra elements that we're not seeing in this, because this is where this video ends. You can now see they set off the bomb. They're now going into what would seem like kind of an instance, a post. It looks like much more damaged. I don't know. I'd be interested
the environment
to see how much
is
changes.
this is a nuclear waste site now. You can see them taking damage.
Now you can see they run in here. Is this the end? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the end and you can't live in that? Or is there more that happens after that we aren't seeing?
I don't know, man. I'll just tell you there's a lot of people talking online. There's a lot of Fallout people that I know, and nobody seems to be impressed by this. the co-op is super limited. It's 3 other people. It doesn't. I don't think I'm going to buy this game on launch. I really don't. I was going to because it was a Fallout game, but I mean, this doesn't. There are so many other games coming out. I don't see the need. I don't see the point of buying this on launch. I mean, frankly, there's going to be Red Dead, there's going to be COD, Battlefield will be out shortly after this. I don't see a reason to buy it, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of games coming out.
That's part of my issue is they could have just as easily have made a co-op mode in an upcoming Fallout. Whatever their next Fallout version, if they put out Fallout 5, I could picture them putting in a co-op mode that lets you go through the world and do stuff in a 4-man group. Like, how is this any better than that?
Well, here's the thing. There's no modding support day one. That'll take, I don't know how long.
They said it'll take a year. So it's going to be like a year later.
So a year until the mods come out. I mean, maybe I'll fold once it comes out, but I'm not planning on purchasing this at launch. Somebody may tell me I should, and I may. I mean, not the end of the world. So what's it, $60? I mean, it's not the craziest amount of money, but nevertheless, I'm not planning on buying this game on launch.
Yeah.
I'll purchase it at some point. It'll go on sale. I'd assume it'll be on sale at some point, but I'm not purchasing this on launch.
Yeah, and if people aren't playing it, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't need a ton of people playing it because this is kind of like running private servers. It's not really, you don't have very many people on a server.
Yeah, 12
or
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, with 12 people on a server, it doesn't really matter if you have a large group of people playing it or not. And not knowing how they're doing this grouping system. I mean, do you have to know 12 people? Like, how do you determine these 12 people? That's one thing I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, what are they randomly grouping these? If so, then there's no real progression. There's no actual competition. I don't understand. I think that this isn't going to have a fun, like, hey, this is a group of people. Like, we ran into H1Z1. In H1Z1, what was fun is when we got to know all these other clans on the server, and we got into competition with them. And it's like we were kind of warring with them, and we knew who they were, and we knew who was coming around. That was fun. And this, if there's only 12, like, how are you going to guarantee that they're on the server at the same time? It's probably going to be very rare after the first week that they're going to be on at consistent times. Does that mean that there's going to be more than those 12? Like,
set a respawn location.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what they're going.
Here's the thing. We'll continue to show the gameplay. Again, you're looking at GameSpot's footage of it. They released about a 50-minute video that kind of went viral. Bethesda was in a real tough spot, in my opinion. They are living in the microtransaction online world, and they are traditionally a single player. I mean, Fallout and Skyrim are single player games. They're very popular single player games. Some of the most popular single player games, Fallout and Skyrim. And I don't think they knew what to do. And Todd Howard pretty much said that during E3, said, hey, we said we are going to do this and we're going to give it a try. And it looks like they're going to give it a try. And from, again, I mean, really nobody's played this game. You've got like a handful of people from IGN and GameSpot and whatnot that have played this. So they gave it a try. If it doesn't work out, the next Fallout probably won't look like this.
Yeah. Well, and this is
it might work out. I mean, who knows?
Before that, I think the grouping system is going to be like Destiny. Destiny, the thing is you never play really with the same person twice unless they're in your group.
I cannot believe the VAT system looks like that now. Totally like useless.
No, it's they had to put it in because it wouldn't be considered Fallout without it, but they couldn't implement
the stop motion. VAT.
Yeah, they couldn't implement it. So all it is you lock onto a target and it does a shot. You know, I mean,
Wow.
it's not the same system.
Red Dead's got that
and
cool
so-
system with the revolver when you can do that. It slows down time and you can pick a couple shots. And
But the thing is how do you pull that off in multiplayer?
you
It's
can't. That's the point. Yeah.
There's a limitation because you're going to be the one who's sitting there going in slow motion while everybody shoots you.
Yeah.
So,
Huh. Well,
so yeah. So I mean, that's the issue. With Destiny, it works out as, you know, you'll come across random people, you come across groups of people as you go through the world. They'll come in and out of your instance. You never see the same person twice, you know, in the world. Like you're just going through. I think that's how this is. It sounds like this is how it's going to be.
but here's the difference between Destiny. Destiny is a multiplayer game. Fallout traditionally is not, and I think that's what's got it.
Yeah.
Fallout is a great. I've never played it like this because I've enjoyed the Fallout games, but I know people that are super into Fallout, and it's just kind of a game where you log in, and you just kind of get away from it all, and and that's what you do. And the same thing with Skyrim. I mean, who is it? Is it Musty that plays Skyrim all the time with all these crazy mods? I mean, he's got hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's a single player game. People aren't going to have that kind of time in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
From what we've seen, they'll rack up some moderate playtime, but you're not going to have people that are going to have hundreds and hundreds of hours like they've got on. I mean,
right now you can't change it. I mean, this is the game. You know, So this will be it. So I mean, we've had a chance to see it. This is one thing that we weren't quite sure how they were going to pull it off. You know, they've got a lot of competition in this type of a genre, and I think that parts of what people really like about the genre is going to be missing with really not having competition that you can build up a rivalry with, or, you know, whatever it is. I have a feeling that that's going to be missing. So once this is released, we'll see if that's the case. But that's from just this video. That's what I'm gathering is, you know, you see people in here, but I don't think that that's going to be how it is. I don't think you can be like, hey, let's go to the same spot on this, you know, in the game, and you're going to see each other. I think it's going to be totally instanced and more random because you can't. Otherwise, you'll have an empty world.
Yeah,
you'll never run into anybody if it has to be. I mean, we ran into that with the forest. You know, when people have to log in and actually play, and like, you know, it's not consistent.
Well, time will tell. The game is out. When is this? When is this out? Do you have the release date?
Let me.
Okay, so I mean, this is out. I think this is out like October 27th. I don't know why that date is jumping out.
November 14th.
November 14th. No, not even close. So this is out. This is out here in about a month, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the reaction is from
people take to it.
People, yeah, absolutely. It'll sell. It's gonna sell. It'll sell. Bethesda will make their money back on this game. There's no doubt about it. It's a Fallout title. It will sell. The question will be, what is the reaction after people own it? Which and
yes. Will they keep playing it?
Yeah, but honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't know if it even matters.
No, as long as you've got your 4 people or 3
people. Well,
people.
it doesn't. I bet as long as they've got their $60 from you. I mean, I hate to break it down like this, but once you've purchased the game, if you play it for 1 hour or 4,000 hours, it really doesn't matter. So the question
is, another thing too is multiplayer doesn't really matter either. So like people can play this game, and whether or not someone's playing on your server, does it really matter? I mean, in your instance, as long as you have your group of people, you're doing your own thing. PvP is such a minimal part of this. Like, what's the difference if there's really other people playing with you?
We'll just have to see. I mean, again, I'm not planning on buying this. I may, just because I may. If a couple people in our group are playing it, I may want to. But this video, I don't think, and I'm curious what this is. I'm gonna switch away for a second and look at the like to dislike ratio. It's got 7,400 up arrows on YouTube, up likes. It's got 5,000 dislikes. So, I mean, almost half of the it's almost half and half. And the video's got 500,000 views.
And IGN wrote an article.
Oh, okay, yeah.
IGN wrote an article saying that Fallout 76 is a strangely lonely multiplayer game.
Yeah,
that was their take on it.
And you know, here's a title. It says, looks like fun, but not $60 fun.
Yep. So, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, really, if they make their money back, this isn't reliant on having a ton of people playing. I think that at that point, until they get to the modding, they're not going to care. You know, they get the money out of the people, they paid for it. This seemed more like a test. They did to like some of the stuff that I saw a video comparing that building that's right in front of you to the real building, and it's actually very very realistic. Like they modeled it very close to the actual buildings, you know, that are there. So, you know, they put some time into it, but I just don't know that it's going to. And is this a loading screen to go into a building? Yeah. Okay. So they're instanced.
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, interesting to say the least.
So, all right. Anyways, that's Fallout 76. Hopefully it's better than what we're expecting. You know. So here I see some NPCs, but can you interact with them? I mean, they're like shopkeepers.
This
but
building looks like this building looks like shit. This looks like Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how blocky. This looks like 7 Days to Die. This looks awful.
Well, I think they're very limited. If you look at the way they do textures and everything in Fallout, you know, their engine isn't exactly Unreal or even CryEngine. It doesn't do textures and everything as well. They usually tend to have very low res graphics that are stretched over big things. Or well, they're high res, but they're stretched over very large objects where they look low res. You know, it's where they just don't have that really intricate detail.
Yeah.
But that's what we kind of expected from Fallout. But I mean, you look at that, like the doors and the walls, like you can just definitely tell.
This stuff doesn't normally bother people because the game has got such an expansive story and things to do. Things like this don't typically bother people, but you're stripping away what made Fallout, but you're keeping things like this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, at this point, what makes it Fallout is its name. And you know, here's the robot thing that follows you around, and the jumpsuits and the vaults. But the thing that made Fallout, again, I haven't played it. Brian hasn't played it. A couple of these, video game journalists have played it, but this just doesn't look like Fallout. And again, I'm not the expert in Fallout. I mean, I've played my fair share of Fallout. I'm no expert in it. But this doesn't strike me as Fallout. But hey,
yeah, and that's gonna be the very difficult thing for them to beat because it's missing a lot of the things that draw people to things like Rust. It doesn't have that PvP element. It doesn't have the beauty of some games, you know, to where people get lost in the beauty of the environment and the detail of the world. And it doesn't have the Fallout elements that people like. I mean, it doesn't have those core elements that make that people will realize, hey, this isn't Fallout. This isn't the Fallout we remember.
Yeah.
And if they get too many of those reminders as they play through this game, it's just going to get frustrating for them to play it.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So do you want to do this next giveaway here really quick?
Yeah. What do we got?
All right. So this will be a 60 points raffle, exclamation point giveaway in chat. And we're going to be giving away a copy of Last Day of June. This is normally, I think, $20. $20 has mostly positive and mostly positive for recent, very positive overall. And this is an adventure indie atmospheric story-rich game. So people seem to like it. So if you're interested in that, exclamation point giveaway, and we will give this away before the end of the show.
Yes, and maybe you're listening to this after the fact. You can tune in live every Tuesday. We're here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, and you can join the raffle. You can interact in the chat, and hang out with us. We're here for a little over 2 hours, almost every two. We're back to our normal schedule, Tuesday nights.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so let's talk a little bit. Let's continue a story that came up a couple weeks ago.
Go ahead, Brian.
And this is with Telltale.
Yep.
So Telltale, they pretty much laid off 90% of their staff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge amount, and they said, well, okay, we're going to finish Minecraft, where we don't know how we're going to finish any other games. So Kirkman's Skybound to complete. So Kirkman is, I think, the guy who does The Walking Dead. So he's the creator. So, okay, I'll read this exactly. So Skybound is taking over development and publishing of the game. So Walking Dead creator and Skybound founder Robert Kirkman announced that he's hoping to keep the original Telltale development team intact so that they can finish this final season. So he owns Skybound. He owns the studio. They haven't got the contracts in stone yet, so this is not guaranteed. But what he's hoping, and I'm sure, if these people haven't already moved out of the area and, whatever else. But he says, because they laid off nearly all of their 274 employees. They had 25 remaining. So what they're hoping is to be able to get this. They do say in here, both AMC and Smilegate were in discussions to invest in Telltale games. And they'd been working on it. And I guess it just didn't happen in time. And it's kind of weird that you had AMC wanting to invest into Telltale and this still happened. It's just the way it all unraveled is very odd to me. But obviously The Walking Dead doesn't want the story to end there. I mean, this is probably, they've got the new season that just started with The Walking Dead
TV season.
But it's definitely,
or game.
Yeah. So it definitely doesn't have, the television season,
okay.
AMC's version. But it definitely doesn't have the interest and hype that it had before. But I would say that The Walking Dead, this game series, there's a lot of big fans for it. And I think once they finish the season, I think that they would get a decent number of people that are wanting to finish that story. They're wanting to finish the Clementine story. And I think they realize that. So they're going to put in and actually finish that. I don't know how that works with people that bought season passes, because they're pretty much giving away a copy of the game for free if they're not getting anything from Telltale, right? I mean, that money would have gone to Telltale if you bought a season pass or, if you pre-purchased this season. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But PH says, you know what? They don't have any of the licensing costs. I mean, this guy owns The Walking Dead. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes from here. So
interesting.
But so it's not the end. We were thinking, man, unless something big happens, it's going to be the end. You're going to have 2 episodes of the final season.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to actually complete it, and they're going to try to bring in as much of that team as possible. That'll be, I guess, the end of it at that point. Unless they say, hey, this is going really well, like let's keep this going. Then they'll milk that for a while. But I think that they got something kind of unique. I think they just want to complete it. I personally doubt that they're going to turn around and try to continue doing these, if they get rights to it, continue the Telltale stories. I don't see that happening, because I don't know that it would have the same effect. I don't think you can duplicate that. I think it was kind of a one-off.
Well, clearly they weren't selling well enough either. I mean, that's why Telltale's in trouble.
But a lot of people don't want to pre-purchase a season that's not completed yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But
I think if they would have finished it, if they could have just kept the dev team together for 1 more month and finished it, and then determine your sales, because I don't want to buy it until all 4 are out.
Well, true, but I don't think well, I guess you are. Yeah.
I mean, I own all of the ones up to this.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have bought it after it was done. I'm not going to buy episode 1. I don't buy them in pieces. When it's done, I'll buy the whole thing, and I don't like to pre-purchase them because stuff like this.
Yep.
I mean, this happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, this is not the first time of promises made on things and then
games not being completed that were promised.
Yeah, and again, external things happen, but there's a and that's why you're seeing what Battlefield this is the official reason that they gave, but the Battlefield pre-orders look terrible.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's a couple of reasons. First, I think a lot of it is obviously, we talked about this, a lot of games coming out or a lot of games were coming out when they originally scheduled. There's still a lot, but there's a real negative connotation, negative taste with pre-ordering games now. Could you imagine if you pre-ordered freaking Fallout 76 right after E3? I mean, they've totally not lived up to what they said the game was going to be.
But the thing is,
Todd Howard literally, I'm not going to say he lied because I don't think he lied, but the game is nothing like what it was described to everybody at E3. It's not, and it's nothing like it is as it was described in some of the interviews that he did right after. So you wonder why people don't. EA's wondering why people don't want to pre-order Battlefield. It's because you've got all these other clowns in the industry that make promises to people. They throw down $60 for the pre-order, and it turns out the game is nothing like what they were promised. So, I mean, there's just it's a bigger issue. It's bigger than Telltale. It's bigger than The Walking Dead. It's bigger than Battlefield. It's an industry thing.
Yeah, and so people are willing to pre-order. I mean, games.
You know what I'll pre-order every time?
Redemption. People will pre-order that Call of Duties because they are so consistent.
Always, I'll pre-order GTA no matter what. Why? Because GTA.
They know those ones are going to come out, and they know that they're going to be up to a certain quality level. But you know what? We found out with most of these games that are a new concept or like this, they don't. Fallout 76 is questionable.
Now here's the thing: it'll still be a quality game. A game is not going to be unfinished. The game is not going to be partially done. It is going to be they've put hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars into this game. It will be a finished product. It will be a full game, no doubt about it. It may not be what you promised or what you thought you were promised, but it'll be a full game. So I want to differentiate like some of the games that we talk about and Fallout, because Bethesda's not screwing you. This is going to be a finished product when it comes out. So, just to do that little differentiation there.
One game. Speaking of The Walking Dead, I had a chance to play some of Overkill's The Walking Dead today.
Yeah, I saw that.
So Firebomb had pre-purchased the game, which gave him access to some beta keys for it, and so I had a chance to go through and we played some Saul. Firebomb and I had a chance to go in and play some of the game today. And it is a closed beta. So if you purchase the game, you can get access to, I think with the base one, maybe one beta key. And then if you have the deluxe version or whatever, you get 3 beta keys. And so on there, I mean, I don't know how much detail I can go into. I don't remember seeing an NDA or anything like that. But main thing we had issues with is their lobby system is very unstable at the moment.
That's pretty typical with anything new, right? We've seen this a million times.
So loading in, it takes forever to load in. A lot of times people will drop. It's just so that's one thing that is definitely a work in progress. Once you get in, it has a lot of what's the game where you're the bank robbers? Payday type of a feel of you're on a level and you have some things to complete in that level. You're protecting against zombies that are trying to intrude into your area, at least for the first level is like this.
Okay.
So you're trying to block off and keep these gates closed and fight off the zombies and secure the area for a certain number of rounds. Then you gain access and that pretty much becomes your base. Kind of like, and it's very similar to the Payday hideout kind of thing that they have, to where you can upgrade your base and you have things in your base, storage in your base, things like that. And then as you go through, you can then go into one that's more of a bigger level that you kind of work your way through. You have to find objects to be able to unlock. For instance, you found 4 car batteries, jumper cables, and then you're able to start up this electric fence that will then let you into the next section.
Yeah, Payday. By the way,
you're working.
Overkill publishes, or Overkill is the developer of Payday.
Okay, so there's definitely, you can feel those influences the way that
makes sense. Payday's a solid series.
Yes, and so you can definitely feel kind of the influences of Payday in this, but this is something where I think that it will be a fun game if you think of it as a Payday game, but it has more of a story. I mean, you do have kind of a story in Payday, right? But this has a story that's kind of going over time. You can play one of right now, I think 4 different characters, all these different weapons that you can then upgrade. I mean, I think if you're looking kind of for something that's not the Payday story but has that feel, if you enjoy playing Payday for the gameplay, but you want something that maybe has a little bit more to it, I think this will be a good game for you. Don't go into it expecting it to be something like Telltale's, where you're having a big story that I don't know how much of the story is going to play into it, of really being like that. And it's not an open world survival game. It's not, you're doing levels just like Payday. So as long as you go into it, I think with the right attitude of what to expect, this will be a fun game for many people. So, but other than, I think once they get the lobby system, that will definitely help, because that was something that we were fighting against the whole time.
So this is a $60 title. It's available November 6th, which is actually
just under a month.
4 weeks from now. Exactly. Well, it'll be 4 Tuesdays from now. So yeah, there you go. You can check that out. It's called Overkills: The Walking Dead. It's $59.99. You can pre-purchase it now.
Yep. So yeah, so just wanted to give an update of that, because that's something we saw some of those videos showing some of the different characters that you'll be able to unlock. I was kind of hoping that it would be more of a story progression, more of a set in stone type of progression, but being that we only played like the first 2 levels, really, it's kind of hard to say how much deeper they'll go. I mean, we did get to where we unlocked the base and started upgrading. There's a big upgrade system for the base as far as being able to make things and have access to things. So there is some progression through it. So I'm going to hold off my judgment a little bit until I get into that and being able to play more progression in it. But that'll be interesting to see. Is it kind of like Left 4 Dead? As you went through Left 4 Dead, we went through some new areas. There was a little bit of story that was told.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how close it is going to be to that versus something that's really taking you through a deep story.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember exactly what the story was. I don't remember any of the story in Left 4 Dead.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, you get characters and whatnot. Yeah.
But the thing is, Left 4 Dead, they weren't exactly, the areas weren't exactly a flow. Like, you'd go to a crazy carnival.
Yeah, and then a mall.
But then they had it to where you were going, you're driving in a car and, you break down and then you're in a mall and you're just kind of working your way through it. But you didn't really know that much about the characters. I think with this, they're wanting it to be to where you know more about the characters, a little more depth than Left 4 Dead.
Yep. I'll check it out.
All right. And so I'll try to do some of the next play tests that they do of this as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that'll be good. And that'll be that'll be interesting. And again, it comes out in about 4 weeks, so that'll be good. A game that we talk about a lot, Rust, had a pretty big update in the last couple weeks, and that includes their boat. That I don't remember if we've seen this before. We've seen this before, I think this was shown in some of Shadowfrax's videos. But the cargo ship is now in the game, and from what I remember, this is going to be an area. This is totally spitballing, but from what I remember, this is an area where it's supposed to be like more of a noob area where there's going to be weapons spawning and whatnot. It's supposed to be kind of like an area where newer players are supposed to go to get some gear and whatnot. Is that ringing with you at all? Or am I just totally making that up?
Yeah, they're going to have some new gear that's in there as well. So, I mean, this is a kind of an advanced looting zone.
So it's
and I think there will be some scientists will be on there, and they're going to have some loot in there.
Gotcha. Do you want me to show this video here?
Yeah, go and play the video because he goes through through some other stuff. We can talk about the cargo a little bit after this.
Okay, so here's I don't think it has an update number, but here's the video from our friend Shadowfrax.
Greetings, survivors and friends. Okay, let's try that again. Welcome to your weekly Rust update. Now, finally, you can stop asking me, where is the L96? Because it's right here in my hands. It's basically Bolty Mark II with similar damage stats but much higher projectile velocity and range with little to no drop. It's uncraftable, but you should be able to find it occasionally in Bradley and Elite crates. If you want a surefire way to get hold of it though, the bandits are selling them for a trifling 500 scrap. You can recycle them if you want for 20 HQ, 3 pipes, 3 springs and the possibility of a rifle body. It's also especially effective when paired with the new 8x scope, complete with handy bullet drop guides. Available in the same places as the 96 and being just 300 scrap at the camp, this is also an uncraftable item and can be fitted to a number of other shooty sticks if you want, although it might not be particularly suited to them. Apparently, Facepunch are aiming to make military versions of all weapons, so can't wait for that tactical Ioka. After a very long time in the dry dock, thanks to this month's forced wipe having just happened, the cargo ship event is now live on servers, including those with Happis Island maps. It sails around every 2 to 4 in-game days, and if you've been watching my updates, you should have a good idea what to expect when you get on board. There is a crew now, mind. A crew that likes to wear blue rubber uniforms and doesn't take kindly to stowaways. If you can board the ship and overcome the Blue Man group, though, you'll be rewarded with a couple of hackable crates and a spare Rahib, which you'll find dangling off of the back. A couple of other notes. The Mountain Dew on board is unstable, and if you hear the radiation alarm go off, then you'll need to abandon ship immediately or face certain death. This happens when the ship is about to leave the server. And bear in mind that even though this thing stays about 200 meters from the coast at all times when it visits, it is now visible on the map and can be heard and seen from miles away. Another handy new addition this month is a set of 3 new glove types. Don't worry, we still have leather and your skins will still work with those, but now we also have burlap, which are a default blueprint and mainly give protection from the elements, road sign gloves, which give higher protection than leather and which can be found in the bandit camp, and tactical gloves, which you'll get in the scientist compound and which have the amazing property of completely removing aim sway. Oof, well, to be honest, roof campers were well overdue for a buff, so this plus the L96 and scope is a great addition. By far the biggest bit of amazing news this week though is that after only a few years of us asking, finally an extra clothing slot has been added, and although it's slightly messed up the feng shui of the UI, this does mean that you no longer have to make such difficult wardrobe decisions. In optimizations and improvements, in the interests of energy conservation, conditional lighting for monuments is a new feature that currently switches the lights on the cargo ship on and off depending on the time of day, but that will eventually be rolled out to other monuments, and that intriguingly may depend on the weather as much as the time. Shadow rendering at monuments was targeted after a large bottleneck was tracked down in the military tunnels. Hang on a tick. Shouldn't bottlenecks by definition be small? Well, anyway, whatever it was fixed, and the solution was applied across all monuments with varying degrees of impact. So hopefully, FPS should be better for you here. For instance, this is a before and after on an i7 6700K with a GTX 970 card. Apart from this, shadows for tree imposters, which were introduced last month, have been temporarily disabled as they were causing some crashes. This is a Unity problem though, and a solution is being sought. And the pathfinding and waypoint system that was initially made to help Bradley find his way around was extended this month to support scientists so that they can trundle around, take cover and navigate on the more complex and moving surface of the cargo ship, apart from 1 or 2 there that don't actually move and act more like sentry turrets. In addition, this month their military tunnel brethren were tweaked somewhat and received a bit of a nerf in the shape of lower health and reduced accuracy. Also, their respawn timer has been fixed so that the countdown clock for the next spawn won't start until all scientists in a group are dead. You'll be pleased to know. However, to counterbalance this slightly, a couple more were added, and they throw grenades in more situations now. Yay! New plant models are being worked on, as you should know if you've been watching me. We'll be getting 3 new sets of berry plants, a potato plant, and an updated hemp model that will be higher quality stuff and blend better with the rest of Rust's foliage. This work is all related to the upcoming farming update, which I think we'll hear a lot more of over this next month, but stay tuned and I'll feed you knowledge nuggets as they fall through the hatch. You've probably already heard me mumbling stuff about parented offset movement, which we may take for granted now when boarding the cargo ship, but here's a much simpler demonstration of it. Basically, now when leaping onto a moving object, players, NPCs, and items can inherit that object's movement instead of the rest of the game world. This breaks the seal and opens the way to new types of vehicles in the future. Talking of which, as you no doubt saw in the thumbnail, unless you're blind or not very observant, a hot air balloon, of all things, is on its way, seemingly. Details are scant at the moment, but as well as being able to take to the skies at some point in the not too distant future, just like in the real world, these things should be skinnable. Can't wait to see what monstrosities people start flying about in then. Of course, having players able to fly over your base and drop things onto you is a potential disadvantage, and this is why SAM sites will be introduced at the same time, and I've spoken about these already, but they will be player craftable surface-to-air turrets that can be placed on bases or in compounds to protect against any new terrors in the sky, and perhaps old ones. Not sure how they'll respond towards attack choppers and Chinooks yet, but we'll find out before too long, I'm sure. Thanks again for watching, and please show your appreciation with likes, subs, comments, bell rings, and all the other things. Come and join me elsewhere too, such as Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.
All right, and there's an update again from our friend Shadowfrax, who deep dives into all of these patches and goes through and finds all this stuff out. So I'm wrong with the cargo ship. What area was it? Was it the docks, maybe? There was an area that we talked about that they were going to put in that was supposed to be a noob-friendly area. I thought it was...
That was the docks.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I just had my area mixed up. Okay.
This is going to be something to where... This will be more of an advanced one where it comes in at certain times, so it travels through and actually leaves. So it's not there all the time. It's not a permanent monument, as they call them. And then they've got that sniper rifle, which is probably one of the bigger things, in this patch. That boat, the sniper rifle, and then the clothing slot, which I guess just gives you another piece of another item that you can put on at one time. So, yeah, that seems to be the biggest things.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a preference?
No, but I do real quick before we move on. I like that. That's an interesting concept. It's kind of Fortnite-y in some respects. It's except it's not on a temporary basis, but it'll show up on the map for a little while where you can access it and then it'll leave.
Plus it's something that comes and it'll attract. I mean, it's perfect for Rust because it'll attract all these groups to it. You'll get some crazy PvP for a while and then it goes away. So it's not all the time. So it's like having scheduled PvP in a way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So unique.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think of other games. I don't think anybody else. I think Fortnite is the only game that does something somewhat similar with their special events where they have something move in and move out of the map. I don't think anybody else does.
I haven't really seen any. I don't recall anyone else really doing it.
I guess Ark does that with their special event stuff.
Yeah, but those are per season. I mean,
yeah, and they're not adding areas. They're adding typically like an dinosaur or something like that.
Yeah, it's something that flies to the sky. They'll maybe have something that spawns on the ground that you pick up. I mean, it's not quite to this extent.
I know we've got some other news to get into, but I do want to ask, do you think this is something that this kind of mechanic of excuse me, not necessarily based on time, maybe it happens at random intervals, but something that it introduces itself to the world for a limited period of time and then goes back away, and it does that on a cycle? Is that a good element? Is that something that more survival games need to implement? Like, what about this new game, Mavericks?
It's really good.
Is that something that Mavericks needs to implement?
I think that they could. I mean, they're going to be having, even down to the level of having fires and things like that. I think that they would have they're going to have a hard time if their map is truly as big as they say it is. What they're going to have a tough time doing is getting people all to be in the same spot to where the world doesn't feel empty.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're a person who's really into PvP and you go play Mavericks and it's really tough to find anyone, you're going to be like, man, this world's dead. Even though just because the map is huge, there may be a lot of people on the map, but you're just not seeing them.
Yeah.
So that's where things like this really come in handy, because you can come up with something that causes people to move to the same location. If they have 1,000 people per server on Mavericks, I don't know that they necessarily want that. They don't want 1,000 people converging onto one spot. But in a game like this, where, you'll have like 30 people, 40 people, that's something that's more doable.
So do you think this is a good
PH
mechanic,
says like a
though?
300 person PvP fight would be cool. I think if they found a way to kind of limit it.
And I don't necessarily mean, I'm just thinking of Mavericks as a new game. Is this an element, though, that we want to see more of? These revolving POIs?
I think you really would. And I think that you're going to kind of see it in Red Dead Redemption with doing the train robberies and things like that.
Yeah.
Having an event. And one thing I think Red Dead's really going to bring, because I think it's taking a game like Red Dead to bring a different expectation. We have some games that come along and all of a sudden something new comes along and it's like, oh, like now we expect that in all these other games.
Yep.
I think Red Dead's going to really bring some things forward as far as expectations of the world being more real, the world being more live, the world actually responding to you rather than you responding to the world all the time. Because right now, if you think of all the games that we play, it's us responding to the world almost every single time. Very rarely does the world or the environment respond to us. But I think in Red Dead, you're going to see, they talk about how the NPCs will treat you differently based on your previous actions, how you're carrying yourself, what you say, or how, whether you're aggressive or not. It's not going to be the same thing over and over again. Probably you'll be able to be a bandit. You'll be able to be a bandit versus a good guy, and people will respond to you differently. You go on a train. You may not be able to walk onto a train if you rob trains all the time, right? That's the world responding to you. And I think that when people see that, I think they're going to be very shocked and be like, wow, and then when they go and play another game that's just the same old, it's the NPCs walking here and saying the same thing every time and doing the same thing every single time. I think that people are going to see it for what it is now. And I think that you're going to start seeing more of the world doing things differently and not trying to feel so static, because a lot of games haven't pulled off making the world not feel static. Almost every game feels very static. And I think that we'll see that kind of being lesser in the next couple of years.
Yeah. I like this mechanic. I like this mechanic with Rust. I think this is something that a lot of I think this is something that PUBG, Ring of
Elysium.
Well, yeah, I don't really know if maybe not for them. Their game's a little too quick, fast paced.
Yeah.
But I think a survival game like Ark,
I think the
DayZ,
server technology is finally getting to that point to where now they can handle doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I think we're right
Miscreated. There we go. That's what I'm thinking
spot.
of. Miscreated needs something.
And I know
like
that
this.
they're trying to do that.
How about
they've
a
got
cargo
those-
ship a cargo plane that randomly flies in and lands somewhere on the map for a given period of time?
or even a crash that happens.
Yeah, like DayZ used to have
Like,
the crashes.
You don't really see that very often, to where a plane comes in and it crashes and
DayZ.
then there's a spot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like DayZ is one, or actually the Arma engine really introduced a lot of these things, allowing people to create these dynamic instances.
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of these studios doing it because it's difficult to do. It takes resources on the server, and then you have to figure out how to balance it and all this. But I think we're going to start seeing it more and more here, coming up in the future.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this kind of stuff in games. I think this is a really cool mechanic.
Yep. So one thing, we did have a game that was mentioned to us last week.
Uh-huh.
And so there is a trailer for it. I don't know if you want to play it really quick, but this is Breathedge.
Okay.
And this was suggested for us to check out.
And what is this before we watch the trailer?
All right. So this game is a early access survival adventure game. It's kind of a comedy.
Okay.
So it's not a totally serious survival, but it's a space survival game that has some fun elements through it. So
Okay, and here is Breathedge. What in God's name did we just watch?
So it's like a silly space game. I mean, you could see that chicken was like a multi-tool.
Yeah, I saw that.
But it goes through and it's just a very silly kind of a space. You know, you're in deep space. There's a wreck. And you have to, I guess, figure out how to save yourself. So they do have, they are going to be adding in base building and all this. So they do have a plans on here. And so it's got some more advanced things that they're going to be doing. But it seems like a very interesting, you know, if you're looking for just a silly story, it does seem like it would be funny. So they're doing base building and just some other.
What's the price point?
So the price is this. Let's see. It's going to be $15.99.
Oh, that's a real interesting price point. $15?
Yep, $15.99.
A $16 title.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, I mean, you know, it's not like a huge loss. It looks like they put the graphics are done well. You know, it looks like it has a pretty fun amount of gameplay to do. So, and it's just came out here. It's less than a month old.
Oh, it's already out. Excellent.
Yep.
Cool.
So you can get it now. It's in early access.
Well, there you go.
So anyways, we'll have a link to that. If you want to check our show notes, you can get a link to the Steam page or just look up Breathedge. Is there anything else you wanted to cover? One thing I did want to mention, there's recent news here that Steam will no longer be accepting Bitcoin.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you're wanting to buy a game with Bitcoin, that is no longer possible just because of the volatile market.
Oh, really?
You know, there was high fees and volatility in the market and the value of the Bitcoin. And so they're no longer accepting Bitcoins as a payment source. Also, I don't know if you want to cover this next one really quick. I think it'd be important to mention.
Sure. What is it?
So Epic Games, they're going to be
this is big.
Their new engine, their new antivirus in the engine. So this is going to be for Fortnite.
Anti-cheat, not antivirus.
Sorry, anti-cheat. Well, kind of.
Come on, that's a stretch. It's antivirus.
Yeah. So, but they will monitor processes and things like that to make sure that there's not some sort of a thing going on. But this is going to be an anti-cheat. They've acquired Camu, I think. Camu. It's an anti-cheat and game security company from Finland, and I think they were already using this. I think they were licensing it. And so because they were using it, they probably liked it. They bought the company.
It must be nice to have FU money.
Yep. So sorry, not new engine. They did put out the test preview of the new engine version. So if you're really into that, you can go check it out. But so I'm not sure 100% if this is going to be rolled out in any way to the Unreal Engine itself.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have a suspicion that they won't, because they probably want to keep as much of this private and not have all of their anti-cheat open to everyone to try to poke holes into.
Absolutely. I mean, that makes sense.
So I have a feeling that they won't. It would be nice if they did, but I think for Fortnite that their primary focus is that they get as few cheaters as possible, and really opening up your anti-cheat to everyone is not the way to accomplish that.
Yeah,
so I do understand.
We've heard that's not
why
the most
they wouldn't.
efficient way to do
To run it.
anti-cheat. Yeah.
And with this, if they're the only ones that have this, it gets harder to combat. You look at some of these other anti-cheats, when 10 games have that anti-cheat, you have a lot of people trying to poke holes in it. And so I think that this is probably the better way to do it, is keep it as private as possible, and make it as difficult as possible to try to circumvent it. So
Yeah, so they've acquired this company.
All right. I'll mention, you want me to just mention some of the other ones that we didn't cover? Oh, actually, I would do the one video. There was a Fortnite update.
Oh, okay. We got a little Fortnite update here.
Yes. So they put out 6.01, and we'll show a video really quick. They put out, the main thing you would see on PC is they put out a thing called the Chiller.
Oh boy, you ain't kidding about a quick video. It almost fully played by the time I was even able to open it. It's called the Chiller.
So it made him, if you saw that, it made him actually slide like he was on ice.
Yeah, it locked boots on him.
Yeah, so he couldn't stop himself, so he just went flying off the edge. It's very unique.
I love these. This is a 7-second video.
Yep.
No intro, no outro. It's
That's
got
what it is.
500,000 views.
So
I love it.
So other than that, they're putting some more options into the playground mode in there. Like you can tweak starting health, gravity, etc. And then I think it was fixes beyond that. So that was the main thing I wanted to show for people that are into Fortnite. That is a new object you'll find in there. Things that we didn't really discuss that came out. So Realm Royale had a new patch. They had Daisy standalone. They released those server files for it that we had mentioned before. They already have a BR mod out. Thanks PH for linking that. And we'll have a link in the show notes if you want to go and see some video. But it's been 2 weeks, I think. And they've got, for Daisy standalone, they have a BR mode, a mod that someone made.
Yeah, I saw that.
Seems to work pretty well. And then Scum, I'll have a link for a work in progress for some things that they're going to be putting out soon. It's not in the current patch, but it's they put out a page just showing some of their work. Ring of Elysium has put out a new version, a new patch for that. No Man's Sky has put out 1.63. What the main thing you pull out from that is they have ground vehicles now. So like it looks like motorcycles and things like that. So I think those are the main things. I think we got everything else. So if you're interested in any of those, just go to our show notes, infectionpodcast.com, click on this episode, and then we'll have links in there that you can click and follow some of those up.
Absolutely. Real quick, Brian, you brought this up yesterday privately to me, and I've got to bring it up on the show because it's just kind of an interesting thing to talk about. Google Plus is going to be moonlighting their service. They're going to be shutting Google Plus down completely. Now, some would make the argument.
Well, they're shutting down the public, so they're keeping it open for business. They're making like a business version that's for enterprise.
Yeah, for Hangouts
that
and probably
companies can use to do things internally, but they're shutting down Google Plus that we know.
Yeah. So the for people that don't know, Brian and I actually met on Google Plus. That's how Brian was working on a plugin, and I was inviting people to Google Plus Hangouts. And one day, Brian popped into a Google Plus Hangout. I don't know how we got connected on Skype. I don't know, it was just over talking, and here we are 195 weeks later doing the podcast. Yep. We've been to Boston. We've been to Seattle. We've traveled. We've traveled and then we got married, like Jonesy said. Yeah, it was great. But no, but seriously, I said this. We were talking last night on Skype. We've traveled cross country. You've traveled to Boston. I've traveled to Seattle. We've been doing the show for 195 years, 195 weeks, and all because of Google Plus Hangouts. So it's I mean, the service has been in shambles for like a good 3 years, but it is sad that it's closing. A lot of I'm currently living in a state and employed because of Google Hangouts. It's all my entire life it sounds stupid. My entire life has literally been shaped by Google Plus Hangouts.
Yep, that is true.
It is absolutely
it is amazing. True. It's amazing. I told Nick it's kind of like falling of dominoes. It's just amazing how one thing can turn around and have such a big effect later on in life. Just because of one thing happening. So, Google Plus, I think that they could have made a lot out of it. Google decided they didn't want to move forward with it, but I think it started a lot of pretty interesting things for us, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before we got out of here this evening. All right. Do we want to maybe do current players?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, almost every week, depending on how much news we've got, sometimes we skip it, but I like to do a segment that is called current players. We talk about some of the more popular games that we talk about. Most of these are games that are standalone that we've been doing for a while, but this is current players. We talk about games and who's playing them. Let's talk about H1Z1. Something is up with this number because it's not making any sense. It says there are 422 people currently playing. There were like 5,000 last week there were like 2,000 last week at this time. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Steam might be doing their update. The 24-hour peak, 3,413. The 7-day peak, 4,682. It's not looking too hot over there. Game that is looking real hot, has constantly been looking hot. Players, Ark, 23,408 people currently playing. The 24-hour peak, 36,068, and the 7-day peak, 48,109. Their player numbers have been so consistent, literally since we've been doing this show. Their player numbers have not fluctuated. I mean, it's been pretty crazy to watch. And moving on over to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, currently playing 53,062. Your 24-hour peak, 940,820, with a 7-day peak of 1,550,508, and one more, Scum. Currently playing Scum, 3,351. Your 24-hour peak, 6,817, with a 7-day peak of 9,705. And that's current players. Have you played any Scum recently?
No, not in the last couple weeks because I haven't been playing games on my computer that much, really.
I feel like I need to jump back into that. That game seems like 3,000 is not a I'm not saying at all that it is losing steam, but the discussion, the conversation about the game seemed to have died off very rapidly. Like everything was like scum, and then it's out and it's like, what? Who?
Yep, that's the danger of kind of having a build up like that and then a sudden release. And I think for them, they've got a lot more content to add. So I don't think they should try to hold the limelight for the whole time because they're not going to be able to. And if they're trying, people will be tired of listening. And so I think they should back off, put some more content in, and then be like, hey, look at Scum now. It's really cool. Just like, just like we saw in Conan. So
I've got some news here, Brian, that I don't see. This is some Fortnite news that it was not in the Fortnite patch. I bet you haven't seen this either. Oh boy. Epic Games has announced that they are partnering with Warner Brothers Interactive to bring their popular Battle Royale title to store shelves with they're calling this the Fortnite Deep Freeze Bundle. This is going to be, this is real. This is going to be a special retail version of the game. The game is free to play, by the way, which will be available for the Nintendo Switch,
V-Bucks or something,
PlayStation 4, Xbox One on November 16th. It will include the game itself, as well as an array of premium content. Players who buy the Deep Freeze bundle will be rewarded with the Frostbite outfit, the Cold Front glider, the Chill Axe pickaxe, the Freezing Point back bling, and 1,000 V-Bucks. Now, people are going to go, look, listen to the date. November 16th, right before Christmas. This is genius.
Because how do parents who their kids are totally into Fortnite, how do you put that under their Christmas tree?
Yeah, this is how you do it. It's going to be $32 US, and it's going to be called the Deep Freeze bundle. So again, ladies and gentlemen, say what you want about Fortnite and Epic Games. They are going to make a boatload of money selling nothing. Their game is free.
Yep.
They are literally selling you virtual items on a store shelf.
Yep.
And they are going to sell.
Skins.
They are going to make millions of dollars on this.
Yep.
So again, this is not about Fortnite. This is about the industry in general. I'm going to buy one of these. I'm going to go to the store and buy one of these just for the hell of it.
All right. I won't.
I'll use I'll use people's Twitch Prime.
Yeah, thanks. That sounds great.
No, but seriously, I'm gonna go and buy one of these. I have to. I've got to own one of these because it's literally gonna be like a card with a code on the back of it. You're gonna scratch off.
Well, and I wonder if this will be closer to like a true limited edition. I bet you that there's only a certain amount that they're shipping out.
Oh, you make a good point. Yeah, I probably won't be able to get one. Well, damn.
No, you might be able to get one, but I'm saying like with their crates and things like that or whatever they do, like. If it sells well or doesn't sell well, like they have an unlimited amount they can make virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Here, there will be a certain amount that they actually package and print and make and put on shelves. So there will be a true limited amount here. They're not going to put out 1 million. Well, they may, however many they put out.
It's a popular game.
It'll be a set amount. It's not going to be based on, if a ton of people want it, a ton of people get it. Like there's a certain amount. If there's a high demand, it could be considered a more rare item where you don't generally see that.
I just think this is incredible that they are literally selling.
As long as they don't bring them back either. I think I've heard some complaints in the Fortnite world that they're starting to bring back skins that were supposed to be one time.
Yep.
And that is some frustration for some people. I think they should keep away from that. Don't go back. If there's a skin that's truly rare, leave it so that that person has, so that there's actually a value. If you keep doing that, there won't be a real perceived value to it.
I love it. I love every second of it.
They're showing the industry how to do it.
You know what they're selling?
So
they are literally selling a piece of paper for $32 on store shelves in America.
Yep.
I love it. That's freaking incredible.
It's not costing them anything other than shipping it.
Nothing. And they're not even going to have to ship it. Freaking Warner Brothers Interactive is going to do all that.
Yeah. But I'm saying as far as just getting it out on the shelf, that's all that it costs anybody. And then, whatever took them to design a few of those skins, which wasn't that much in comparison.
I love it.
Very interesting.
Yep. So thanks. Oh, and I got that. That was on Massively Overpowered. So thanks.
Very good.
Thanks to them for putting that out there.
All right. So let's go ahead and we'll do tip of the week really quick.
Yeah.
Generally, I'll give maybe a general tip about gaming or for a specific game. I haven't said this one for a little bit, so I'm going to do Rocket League. So this is tip of the week. All right. So in Rocket League, you'll get a lot of items that are going to be building up into your inventory. Now, if you're doing the season pass, I think those are items that are non-tradable and you can't actually trade them in. But if you have items that were opened up from crates, maybe from the different types of keys, or maybe you got them after a match randomly, you can take those items and trade them in for a higher quality item. So, mostly this is just to prevent from having your inventory full of a bunch of useless items that you're not going to actually use. So what you can do is you pick 5 items that are on the same quality level, and then you can exchange those items in for the next highest quality level item. and it'll be a random one from that quality level. So if you have uncommons, you can trade those 5 of those in and you get a rare. Or if you have the rares, you can trade those in, and then they have a tier called very rare. And if you have very rares, you trade those in for a tier called import. And then if you have 5 imports, you trade those in for well, you actually cannot trade those in because you can trade those in for exotics. And then exotics cannot be traded in because beyond that, there's black market is the next tier up, and they don't have an exchange for that. Like that's a special thing to itself. So if you have been playing this game, you've built a lot of those items, but maybe you want to feel like you have a lot of skins that you're not actually using. You can trade those in. You may get a skin that you don't want to use, but if you do that enough times, you will pick up 5 of that next tier item and just kind of keep upgrading it over time. Maybe you'll get the specific ones. Also, they have that season pass. If you're interested in just getting skins in general, that's an excellent way through the season to get a lot of different skins, just to have some variety on your car, get some different vehicles as well, different effects like end goal effects. So a lot of ways that you can get skins. And then for the ones that are certain types, you can upgrade those and get, and also there's a lot of ways you can trade. A lot of people do this to where they're actually trading between accounts. So if you're on PlayStation, you'll get people that offer trades. If it is a tradable item, you can exchange skins that you have with someone else for ones that you maybe prefer, or maybe you're getting a specific look for your vehicles. So that is tip of the week.
All righty. Thank you very much for that, Brian.
Yes. Well, if you want to find me,
whoa.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We got a game.
Oh yeah, we do have
and a game. We got a giveaway. We got a game of the week.
I was rolling right past it.
I mean, gee, I know you don't want talking to me, but Jesus, I mean, can you at least wait till the post show to bail
ready
on
for
me?
the after show? Yeah. So on here, we're going to be doing League of Legends.
I think so. Yeah.
Green Man will be hosting that.
That's
so
if
people are interested in that,
I mean,
see what happens.
I probably should have verified, but we're going with it. He'll listen to. Oh, I totally forgot about it. Green Man got his YouTube play button this week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw a video of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want any other comments from you. Green Man got his play button this week. Go to hell, Brian. He got his play button this week. And if you've never checked him out before, his YouTube channel is Green Man Cartoons. His work is top notch. He did I don't know if I have our icons in here. I don't think I have our avatars in here, but he did us a couple.
I use that avatar a number of places.
Yeah, I use it. I use it everywhere. Let me see, I'll pull him in here. But yeah, he's done our avatars for us. He's a very talented artist and animator. And oh, there it is. This is an example of something that he's done. The logo was made by our friend Lance, and he did the cartoon characters. Yes.
Yep.
So, and we've been in a couple of his cartoons. So.
Yep. Nick has died in a lot of them.
I die in every single one of them. It's crazy.
All right, so let's go and do the game giveaway here really quick.
Okay.
Zerali, right? Isn't it? Zerali?
Zerayu.
Zerayu.
I think. I don't know.
Something like that.
My friend Dave. Congratulations, Dave. You're the man.
So congratulations. I will send it. I'll have to figure out how to get a hold of you.
You can message him on Twitch.
So I can get your, I'll try to message you on Twitch, and then
if not,
keep an eye out for that in messages.
If not, I can handle it.
Yeah. So I will, so I will try to send that to you, and then congratulations. If you're interested, if you're listening to this and you want to participate in any of these giveaways, make sure you come and check our live show.
Yeah.
Do it every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/what? InfectionCast?
Infection Podcast, Brian. Jeez,
Infection Podcast.
You gotta promote.
Our Twitter is InfectionCast, yes, right?
You can see the. Okay. There you go.
It was covered up by your logo thing that you were across the bottom.
Our Twitter is InfectionCast, where you can get updates on like if we do a game if we're doing, change the game of the week, or maybe there's something going on. Something's going on with work, and I'm not available Tuesday night. All things like that are on our Twitter and on Discord. We do a pretty good job of notifying that. Do want to just quickly say our friend Gadlaw and our friend Saul are both in the and I'm sure we've got some other listeners on it, but I know for a fact our friend Gadlaw and Saul are both in the path of this hurricane. So we wish them luck and a speedy recovery to their area. Obviously, this area is still dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane a couple weeks ago, so I know it all too well. And I know Saul's lived in the South for a while, so he's a pro. But speedy recovery for them, and hopefully we'll see them back in chat here soon when they get power and internet and whatnot restored. So good luck, fellas.
Yes. Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, and of course, you can check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Make sure you go to our website. You join our Discord. There's a nice green button on the right-hand side. Join Discord server, and that'll let you come and hang out with us through the week. Make sure you introduce yourself if you get in there. And also, we have a place you can post news. We'll have announcements that we do in there, notifications of the live show. If you want to get notifications of our live show, you can do that on Steam if you just join our Steam group. And we usually only do notifications once in a while for Game of the Week. And then I do it for every live show that we do on Tuesday. So make sure you join us on there. We have a link to our YouTube channel, a link to our Twitch, and then also to our audio only forums. So maybe you watch this on YouTube usually, or you catch us live and you want to catch it on the road. You can go and subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you prefer. So
absolutely.
That's it.
Check that out. Thank you very much, Brian. And I guess I will talk to you next Tuesday for episode 1. Man, what are we doing for episode? I haven't even thought. What are we doing for episode 200?
Episode 200?
Yeah, I haven't even contemplated this. What are we doing?
We'll figure it out.
Oh,
We'll have to talk about it.
I'm laying the seed right now for the community. What are we doing for episode 200? It'll be past October, Brian. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, we could do that. Oh, and if you want to take part in our, it's a little late now. If you want to take part in our health challenge in October, ping me in Discord. We got a couple people in
the
there.
remaining 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, if you want to jump in on it, Jones, you just don't show up. That would be. How about we skip it? We'll go to 99 to 201. That would be. Yeah,
that would be.
That would be funny. We'll figure something out. But if you've got an idea what we should do for 200, let us know. We got to do something fun. All right. I think we're all set. Thanks, Brian. We'll talk to you next week. Alrighty, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in again. If you missed us live, or if you're listening live, you missed any part of it, you can check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter and check out my antics at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, visit our website, infectionpodcast.com. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.